Hello everyone, good morning. My name is B Pavan and my roll number is 20955A0411 and my AIT topic for the subject is intellectual property and product liability challenges in three-dimensional printing. Intellectual property and product liability challenges in three-dimensional printing. First, we have to know about what is meant by intellectual property. Intellectual property is a category of property that includes intangible creations of the human intellect. There are many types of intellectual property and some countries recognize more than others. The best known types are patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. Let us go through about the product liability. Product liability is the area of law in which manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, retailers, and others who make products available to the public are held responsible for the injuries those products cause. Product liability is a term used to describe the legal liability of manufacturers or sellers of goods to compensate buyers, users, and even bystanders for damages or injuries suffered because of defects in goods purchased. Product liability law is the area of law governing liability litigation. Three-dimensional printing. Three-dimensional printing, also called as 3D printing or additive manufacturing, is the construction of a three-dimensional object from a CAD model, that is computer aided design model, or a digital 3D model. It can be done in a variety of processes in which material is deposited, joined, or solidified under computer control, with material being added together such as plastics, liquids, or powder grains being fused, typically layer by layer. Here now we can see the diagram of three-dimensional printer that is being used in nowadays. Now let us understand about the challenges of 3D printing on intellectual property. 3D printing is not new to the market, but what is new to the market is the commercial viability of owning one, which makes IP infringements quite easy. What a 3D printer essentially does is convert a software file into a three-dimensional product. This software is called a computer aided design file, simply called as CADF. This CADF is available online and anyone can share it across the internet. There is another device in the market called the 3D scanner, which can scan any 3D device and create its CADF file, which, when sent to a printer, will print the scanned product in its 3D format. The 3D printer has the capacity to violate patents, trademarks, and copyrights. When works in the public domain are printed, this is when the works that have lost their copyright are printed, such as that of the Eiffel Tower. But it has to be noted that the current 3D printers cannot make all that is necessary to build a lifelike model of the Eiffel Tower because of the size. It can, however, make a miniature of the same. Like any product, there are both good and bad to 3D printing. Whether the aforementioned intellectual property violations actually take place is a good question. The problem is that if a product is being printed for personal use, then according to some countries' laws, there is no violation because the commercial viability is not affected. But that would mean that multiple individuals can use a 3D printer without any repercussions. So there has to be a line drawn somewhere. Moreover, finding out who these apparent violators are and then taking them to a task is a cumbersome, time consuming, and expensive process, particularly when people use these printed products for private reasons. Product liability challenges in three dimensional printing. While a professional using a 3D printer may face potential liability for a defective product, the potential liability of a manufacturer of the 3D printing device itself, the 3D printer software developer, and the manufacturer of the raw materials used for 3D printing should be much more limited in most jurisdictions. This, of course, depends on the underlying products, that is, the 3D printer itself, the software it uses, and the materials it uses, not being defective in and of themselves. In most states, if a component part itself is not defective, the component part manufacturer will not be held liable if the final product in which the component placed part is placed is defective as a result of the use of the non-defective component part. Therefore, as long as the raw material supplied by the material manufacturer are not defective, it appears unlikely that many courts would hold the raw materials manufacturer liable for the defective ultimate product created with its materials. Nevertheless, as the raw material manufacturers may be the deep pockets, it certainly faces the risk of suit. Similarly, as long as there was no defect in the 3D printer or the software, the manufacturer of the 3D printing device itself as well as the software developer should be relatively protected from liability for products defectively created by its devices or software. There have never been a significant number of claims against tooling devices manufacturers for the products created by the tooling devices, and such claims make little sense. The manufacturers of a screwdriver and hammer are not responsible for what dangerous products could be made by using the screwdriver and hammer. Thank you.